Minister Schialer, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much for coming.
As the APEC host and a country of diverse landscapes and diverse people, what do you hope to show the other member economies?
Well, let me say, first of all, that we are very happy and honored to be, for the third time, host of the APEC meeting. And we are really happy and proud to present our country to the other 20 economies. So we are like warming up for the great event, which will take place between 11th and the 17th of November. It's called the Leaders Summit Week, which will, there will convene about, well, the leaders of the 21 economies. Everybody is coming, and this is, of course, a great honor and a great challenge also for Peru, for Peruvians, for the Peruvian government, but we are preparing ourselves the best we can.
When it comes to your economy and trade, what does Peru have to offer, and what is the message that you want to send?
Well, you know, Peru has very much to offer, and with a little bit of effort and help from our friends. For example, China is a very good friend of us. It's one of our trading partners. As a matter of fact, the first trading partner, Peru's. We can do a lot. Let me give you an example. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, nobody knew about Peruvian blueberries. Today, we're #1 world exporters. We're really the champions of blueberries exports. No? The same happened a few years ago with asparagus, for example. How did we do that? Well, we have the conditions, we have the geographical conditions. I think a little bit of technology was put into it, and a lot of effort, and really a lot of wish to do things in a very important professional manner. No? So we are multidimensional in a real sense of multidimensionality.
You mentioned China and Peru's trade relationship's been very strong.
Yes.
What areas of economic cooperation do you hope to see grow stronger at APEC?
Well, one thing that, one of the mottos we have in APEC is that we want to have an inclusiveness, we want to empower people, no? And we do not want to leave anyone behind. So in this sense, China is somehow an example, not only for Peru, but also for other economies, in the sense that the Chinese government led a strong development strategy, which took out of poverty millions of Chinese citizens in the last decade or so. So this is something exemplary. This is something we ought to repeat, to learn how to do that. So because this is the real meaning of not leaving anybody behind. I know that one of the main instruments in order to have this fight against poverty is work, is industry. It is also technology. It is also markets. And these are things in which all of them, China, I am sure, is keen to help Peru. And of course, other APEC economies which have similar conditions, social conditions as Peru.
Peru is about to inaugurate the largest port in the region, the Chancay port. What are the hopes and the goals for not only opening up trade in Peru to the Asia Pacific, but largely the region?
Well, first of all, let me say that this port, which we have there, a small joke with the Chinese ambassador in Peru, is now, at last, we will have a direct route between Shanghai in China and Chancay in Peru. It is not only the port itself or the local impact, which is very big, it's really very big. We hope that this will be some kind of hub for all other ports in the South American Pacific. So this is one very important thing. The other, the consolidation and deconsolidation of cargo to and from South America.
Peru has been a very vocal supporter of multilateralism. How does the Peruvian government view China's efforts to reform global multilateral institutions like the United Nations, where everybody has an equal voice?
Yes, well, thank you. This is a very good and timely question. It's something that we have been discussing intensively amongst delegations during this General Assembly, but the discussion comes also from previous years. You see, San Francisco, the UN Charter, was an effort, a very, I think, very important effort, which, was born after a world war. And at the time, the configuration of the world was totally different as today. We are now more than 193 states. This is already a difference which is not only quantitative but also qualitative, but also the progress. Today, everybody, if they want to, can tap in through any digital media and see what they want to see and form their own opinion. So it is more public. So meaning to say, the institutions who were born with the San Francisco Charter, they have to change. They have to change. The world has changed in many ways, and it is time, I think, to rethink many structures and also many very important procedures which will have to be revisited.
Peru and China both have ancient civilizations, come from ancient civilizations. Your diplomatic ties go back 5 decades. How would you describe relations at the moment?
Well, right now I can say we are at a high point. We signed 10 years ago something, a free trade agreement which has enabled Peru not only to double or triple or make 5 times bigger, so almost 10 times. We are right now, we have a commercial a relationship of $30 billion, which may not very much mean to China, but for Peru is very important. China is our #1 trading partner. But it is not only that. China is a very big investor, not the biggest one, but a very big investor in Peru. And we have so many opportunities to invest in infrastructure. For example, infrastructure. We have what we call a gap, infrastructure gap of over $150 billion. And these are, of course, problematic for those communities that, for example, don't have electricity or don't have a decent road. I can say yes to that. But these are also big opportunities for companies interested in developing this infrastructure which lacks that particular community.
Minister Schialer, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much for this interview.